Hey guys, welcome back. Just a quick video on how to replace rear airbags on F11. So, other cars, F11. Over the last 6 months, I'd say, the left-hand side keeps going down. Sometimes when you park the car for a few days, sometimes pretty much a few hours after you parked it, and sometimes not at all. So an intermittent fault, it's likely to be the airbag itself. And there's plenty of videos on how to do this online, but there aren't any quick ones with useful tips. And this is my second attempt to do this, so I thought I'd share it with you so you don't run into the same issues I did. So, point number one, which airbags to go for? A lot of people put Arnott airbags on. I think they're Netherlands produced and they're pretty good. This here is a Dunlop set, and I think it looks pretty decent. Obviously Dunlop is a good brand. I think they might be OEM on F07, which is the 5 Series GT, but the F11s may have been slightly different. But the airbag fitment should be the same. So these are the Dunlop ones. The pair cost me £163 here in UK in 2025. So it comes with the boot, and it comes with this little spacer here, and looks like a new union as well, and a little installation manual. When ordering airbags, be careful and make sure you order the one with a correct interface for your car. So this is the top and that's the bottom. I think the bottom interfaces are all the same, but the top interfaces, there are two different ones. So prior to these airbags, I'd ordered a pair of Sachs airbags from Germany, from Autodoc. They turned up, they looked very good quality, but when I opened them up, this setup here was a little bit different, and this is what the other one looked like, which didn't fit. Secondly, what you'll need to do is obviously get the car up, take the wheel off, one at a time, both at a time, whatever. Usually the left hand side line is red, you can see it there, and the right hand side line is blue. What most people do, they will just cut the old airbag and take it out that way, which I wouldn't advise, because last time if I'd done that, I would have been without a car for a few weeks. What I'd advise you to do is to actually disconnect the valve from the solenoid block, which is under here next to the compressor. Right, so just need to take this cover off, and then this cover off. So this one and then this one. So this one is clipped on by 2 clips on this side and by 3 clips on this side, and an 8mm screw here and an 8mm screw there. So that's first on the list, and then that big one, that one there would be the second. Right, so now that this cover's off, we need to take this cover to gain access to the compressor and to the solenoid block. So 10mm plastic nut there, 10mm plastic nut there, then a 10mm plastic nut up there, and the same on the other side, but you can't quite get to the other side because it's sort of right up there. Not sure if you can see that, but I will do my best to try and show you. Right there. So the way I tend to do it is I construct a contraption like this with a 10mm socket on the end and put it up into there, and you can just about reach it by pulling this back and sort of just sliding it up there onto the 10mm. Right, so now that the cover is off, very important next steps. If you have this contraption, an extension with a socket on there, when you're pulling it down, make sure the socket doesn't get caught and detach from the extension and rolls in there, because it's quite difficult to get. And if it does get to it, instead of taking this whole thing off, it would be really useful to have a flexi magnet like this. Super cool thing, super useful. Buy one off of eBay if you haven't got one. Anyway, second important thing, or third or fourth, lost count now. This is your compressor here, and this is the solenoid block, right? What you need to do now is disconnect whichever side you're doing. So blue is right hand side on my car and red is left hand side on my car. But when reassembling them, you have to be mega careful because it is a brass fitting going into a plastic thread. So the torque on this has to be minuscule. Last time I was here, I'd over tightened this and I think I actually damaged the threads, but it's holding up for now. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get on now, but whenever you're reassembling all this stuff back together, just make sure you don't over tighten these nuts. They literally just need to be hand tight with a tiny little nip. 10mm spanner. And that's the plastic thread, or what's left of it. I might need to use some PTFE tape, putting it back together, or I might need to replace this. We shall see. Not sure just yet. Or it might hold. So if it holds, I might just leave it as it is. Let's see. So now that the pressure is off, we can go ahead and remove the airbag. So now that there's no pressure in the bag, get a screwdriver, flat one, and just get underneath, just underneath the lower part and pry up. And then you can just wiggle it out, in theory. You also have to twist. And out she comes. And now onto disconnecting the line. Again, the same 10mm. And just remember in what order everything goes together. There we are. Pop it off and the bag is out. So old bag. Let's take this boot off. And new bag. Same but different. So I think the length is the same. Let's see if the interface is the same. That all looks the same. It has this little seat. So all looks more or less the same. It looks like we'll have to cut this just to put the line through it, because the old one is cut, or we could reuse the old one. Let's use the new one. So let's build it up the same as the other one was. That's a clip-on with a little orientation feature. And this is similar, I believe. Yep, so valve this way, and then orientation feature in the same place, and then these are also in the same place. So let's put it on. Careful not to cross thread anything. It's always best to try and use your fingers to start the first couple of threads. Make sure they're going in nicely without any resistance, and then put the spanner on it. Try and hold it as straight as possible. Just a little nip, nothing too exciting. Make sure the rest of the boot is on nice and evenly all the way around the rim like that, and then we should be able to slide the top on. Slide and twist. So give it a little helping hand. So this is the bottom, the top is clicked in, and just checking the notch and the locating feature are lining up. So now what we're going to do is pull it down. I hope I managed to get that on camera. Nice and satisfying click. So top is on, twisted, the line is nipped, happy days. Bottom's in and where it's supposed to be. Now back onto the solenoid block, and hopefully I can secure it all back together and see if it builds up pressure. So I connected the line onto the solenoid block, and I was lucky enough where I didn't have to use any of the PTSD, aka PTFE tape, but I just referred to it as PTSD tape. The union actually went into the block, and even though the threads were not all there, I still managed to do it up tight to a point where it's not leaking. I tested it, compressor kicked in, inflated the airbag, and everything is a-okay. So I then went on and did the other side, exactly the same thing, and luckily all went smoothly. I reconnected the other side back to the solenoid block, put the big cover on, put the small cover on, put the car on the ground, compressor kicked in, it's all level, and nothing's hissing. So that's a really good news. Now then, to wrap up, the main things to take away from this is don't over tighten the unions on the bags or on the solenoid block, otherwise you'll strip the threads. Don't cut the airbag in case you've got the wrong one and the one that you've got doesn't fit. Be careful when removing the covers and make sure you don't drop anything, but if you do, not the end of the world. And just in general, make sure that when you're reassembling stuff together, you get a generally satisfying click of where the parts come together. So when you insert the airbag or the air spring into the cavity in the car where it's supposed to be, and then you twist it into shape, it's got to sort of feel right, and then give it a little pull down to make sure that it's not loose or anything. And then the same with the bottom mount when it goes into the swing arm or into the lower control arm. Make sure it's clicked into place, and make sure the lines are not catching anywhere and there's no stress on them. They're not pulled or bent or damaged or anything like that. And yeah, this is it. Hope you found this useful, guys. If you have, great. If you haven't, tough. But yeah, thanks again, and see you again in the next one.